Over the last several months, we recognize the layers of grief and loss that have touched our lives. I'm Jillian Dronfield, a faculty and staff counselor in the Office of Counseling and Workplace Resilience. And today, we're going to focus on the ways in which we can tap into our innate ability to cope and find strength through loss while embracing all that remains. We have lost so much recently: a sense of routine and normalcy, celebrations of milestones, lost opportunities, changes in the type of work we do and where we do it, along with the missed connections of team members if we're working from home. Most poignantly, some of us have experienced the deaths of beloved colleagues, patients, family members, and friends. Our lives are not what they once were. In times of trauma and adversity, we often focus on what has been lost, and rightfully so. And while it's important to acknowledge the impact of what has happened, it is equally vital to focus on the good that remains. Lucy Hone, author of Resilient Grieving, offers a powerful suggestion. Don't lose what you have to what you have lost. Research shows that while we may struggle in the aftermath of trauma, it is also likely that we will be just fine, and that in fact we may grow from the experience. To help illustrate this point, imagine the ocean. At times, the ocean roars with tsunamis and tidal waves that thrash and wear us out. At other times, the waves are rolling and gentle, predictable yet relentless. We do not doubt the large waves will come, and yet we know they will subside. It can be helpful to view life in this way. First, anticipate the waves. We know the current losses will not be our last. We will experience hurt again. And yet we can take steps to prepare for what's next. We can ground ourselves on the sand below our feet and bravely face the wave head on. At other times, it may catch us unaware and knock us down, and this is bound to happen. And when it does, extend yourself some compassion and use your inner strengths to rise again. Or find a compassionate supporter who can help steady you. What strengths can you draw from? Are you a person who can tap into your curiosity? Can you find strength in kindness? Is persistence available within you? And who can be your resource? Can you turn to a parent, a partner or spouse, a trusted friend or colleague? It can sometimes be easier to speak with someone outside of your immediate circle. If that's true for you, can you seek out counseling services for added support? Next, find solace beneath the surface. When the waves become too much, we can dive under the surface to the calm beneath. We can let go of suffering briefly and focus on comforting ourselves in a quiet moment. Finding our center and letting this define us, not our losses. Where do you find solace? Do you enjoy spending time outside in nature, even if just admiring a single tree? Do you find inspiration or comfort in the words of a treasured writer? Can you carve out a small space to breathe, meditate, or listen to calming music? Finally, bask in the gifts of the sea. We may not always like what the ocean brings us. We may even experience anger at the destruction the ocean may cause. And still, we can find gratitude in the small gifts left behind. A shell, damaged by the waves yet still beautiful. Patterns of lines in the sand that may disappear with the next wave. What have these losses from the pandemic taught us about how to live our lives? What gifts will it leave behind? Have you started new traditions with loved ones at home? Have you discovered novel ways to stay virtually connected with family, friends, and colleagues? Have you found some simplicity in your life that you'd like to continue to cultivate? Do you have a deeper appreciation for a life well lived? It is important to acknowledge our losses as we continue to move forward and find ways to cope from within. If you're feeling overwhelmed with changes and loss in your life, please reach out for help. Jon Kabat-Zinn, a pioneer in the mindfulness tradition, said it best: "You can't stop the waves, but you can learn to surf."